Alright folks, so last time on the channel we reviewed War of the Networks and TV Wars. Today, let's review the networks. Check it out. Alright, so in this game you are competing as one of these 5 networks, and they have different networks here. So you'll pick one, we'll pick ICS, and you're trying to get, of course, the most viewers to watch your channel. Now, the board comes with several pieces here to determine whether you're playing with 1 to 5 players. For this instance, we're going to play with like a 4-player game, let's say. So I would flip the board right here. Well, right here to start off, because it tells you basically who's starting off with what type of money. It'll say, hey, first player gets 5 million, the last player, 4th player gets 11 million. The reason for that, and here's the bills there, they're coming 1s and 5s. But the reason for that, whoever picks first is going to have their pick of the litter. So when it gets to the 4th player, they may not have that many shows to pick from, or ads, or stars, or network cards, but at least they'll have more money, maybe going into the next round. So it does balance itself out. Now, as you pick your place, you're going to get a handful of cards, and they come in each one of the 5 stations there, and they're all going to be slightly the same here. You're going to have 3 crappy shows. Here's my shows. Cooking with Your Gerbil, Litter Training Weekly, and Name That Stain. Yikes. And as you see, none of them are netting me any viewers. But I would put them at the 8, 9, and 10 o'clock slots, as you see on my card here. Now, I also have a little star and an ad that I will place in my green room to be attached to future shows. Now, as I'm picking shows and whatnot, I'm going to have to replace these shows and move them over to my reruns. When I do that, I will take the card and flip it over. And if you see on reruns, I actually get 1 viewer. So for that round, I would actually attribute 1 viewer on my viewership thing. After that round, I would move it down to archives, where if you establish enough genres, you get extra bonuses. So for instance, if I had 3 sports shows that were in my archives, then I'd qualify for a bonus. What my bonus could be is I could grab the top 3 cards from the star deck, or the top 3 cards from the ad deck, and I could choose one and get one for free. That's really cool. Now, if I had added my 5th genre, let's say I had 5 sports shows in my archives, man, then what I could do is I could dig through these network cards, 3 of them, and pick one of them. It's really cool. So more bonuses, the more you have in archives. That's just a little back part of the game there. But anyway, let's say I have these shows. This is what I'm starting off with. I got a little ad and a little star. So how it's going to work, I got these little counters right here, and this one's to count up my viewership points for each round. It goes up to 50. I've never seen anyone hit 50. I've been in the 30s before. That's about as high as I've gone per round. But you can get pretty high in this, and then you'll start them off into their respective seasons. And you have a little season marker here that goes up to 5 seasons, and that's how many rounds there are, 5 rounds. You have these little chip markers, just little wooden little chips here, and they will take count of, where you are on the board. Of course, right now, they'll all start at 1. Now, after the first round, you're going to flip this over, and it's going to complete the rest of the board. So it goes from 1 to 100. And if you cross the 100 viewer mark, you get the little chit that's associated with your TV station that says 100. If you pass it again, you just flip it over and get 200. If unbelievably you pass it for a 3rd time, which I never have, I've gotten the 200 several times, I've never passed it 3 times, but if so, they gave you this 1 chit for 300, because I guess they think only 1 person could cross it. And man, if you have this, you may have well won the game, because I don't see how anyone can beat you in viewers. As you're playing the game, we play around. Let's say Red goes first, and Red gets to choose a TV show, a star, or an ad to buy, or maybe take a network card. Now I'm going to get into what each one of these are. Now, how many did I know how to lay out? Well, the player board will tell you how many you lay out every round. And of course, there are different season cards for each season. So right now I have season 1 cards out, but pretty soon I'm going to switch to season 2 and 3 cards, and then 4 and 5 seasons. And like for this one, I didn't get to deal it out, so this show goes into the trash pile, because next season, for the next 2 seasons, I'll be digging through 2s and 3s. Whatever 2s and 3s I don't use, I'll discard them and start pulling from 4s and 5s. And that's kind of how it goes. And these shows get different in weirder and better and whatnot. So you have these types of shows moving up, and you get to pick one. On your turn, you can put one into play, add it, buy an ad or attach one to a show. Right now, let's see if I want to buy a show. Now, certain shows have certain requirements. For instance, let's look at this one. Here's how you read one of these cards. What if I want to buy Cyber Slug versus Mecha Earthworm, okay? Well, first off, it's going to cost me $1 million to buy, and then to keep the show every season will cost me another $1 million. Now, looking down here, though, if I put it at 8 p.m., it's going to get me 9 viewers. If I do it any other time slot, if I put it at 9 or 10, it's only going to net me 7 million. Well, I really wanted to put it at 8 o'clock, and I have nothing at 8, but then I see a requirement. It needs an advertisement with it. Now, luckily, I have an advertisement starting my deck that pays me $1 million per season. Well, dang, if I attach this to this, then that's going to zero these two out, and I won't have to pay for this show. This is great. Thank you, Hipster Gaming Controls. So I'd attach that, and I'm ready to replace Cooking with Gerbils. So what I'll do is I'll move that out, put this in, put my little marker at season 1, because that's what season we're at, flip it around, now it's a rerun. I have 1 viewer here, so I move it up, I have it on 1, and then I have 9 viewers here because I have it at the right time slot. So I'm going to move it up to 10. So that's how you count it for the round. Now, I may not be done yet. I want to buy maybe other people too, but let's say I wanted to buy this one, okay? And this is very charismatic explosions. It requires an ad too. Dang, I don't have an ad. I'll have to buy an ad. Well, for right now, I can buy it and put it in my green room. And then on my next round, I can hopefully buy an ad that I can place on this. Now let's look at ad cards though. Anything you buy can be placed in your green room and then to be later played up here. If you look at the green room here, I'm sorry, not the green room, but the ads here, I have this ad for luxury spacecrafts. This is awesome. However, if it's not attached to a sports show, it's not going to net me 3 million. I'm going to have to rotate this around, and it's only going to pay me 1 million. Now you may say, well, why would I want this then if I don't have a sports show? Maybe it's the only ad out there, and at least 1 million is something. So these cards will still be handy, even if it's not exactly what you want. Now, some certain things say it has to be on certain time slots or certain genres. Even the stars have that too. If you look at this star, I have a star here, the former comedian gone dramatic. He's worth $3 million to get on my show, and I have to pay him $1 million per show. But he adds viewers to my show. But look at this. He has to be on a comedy or a drama. If he's not, flip him around. Well, his numbers aren't as good, but maybe it's something that'll help me out in the round. Let's say I got this show, Old Folks Complaining. Now, if you see here, these are grayed out, which means I have a choice. I don't have to put a star or ads, but I can if I want to. Now, he would be actually perfect for this, right? Because it is a comedy, and this is a comedy. So I could attach him to this show, put him up there, and instead of getting 8, if I put it at 8 p.m., I would get 11 viewers, and 11 for the next season, 8 for the next season. That's pretty good. I could keep this show for 3 full seasons before worrying about it dropping off at season 4. Now, the network cards are something you can get for free, and there's different types of cards. The ones without any emblems to the side, they're regular cards. They help you do little things, do little cheats in the game. Anything with an A on it, that means advanced. Anything with an I means interactive, which means these cards are a little bit meaner. Now, they suggest you take these out first and just play with these, but eventually you'll want to play with them all. Unless you don't want a mean game, then you can take those out, or you don't want an advanced game, then you take those out, but we usually leave them all in. And you can pick one of these for free, and they can do different things for you. Some of them can be very helpful, some of them maybe not based on the situation. It just depends. Now, at the end of the round, let's say a lot of these cards are gone. Let's say I've basically acquired maybe 20 more points. What I'm going to do is one by one, all the players are going to be slowly dropping out of the round as they're either running out of money or they just don't have any more interest in anything out there, stars, network cards, ads, or shows. Well, the first one to drop out puts their little chip, let's say it's orange, he drops out first. He can have $10 million, which usually you're going to get the money because money is hard to come by here, or you can add 5 more viewers. So he could go, you know what, I don't need the money, I just need the 5 more viewers, and he can move up 5 on his little counter board there. And then let's say green goes out next, red next, and then blue is last. Blue would just get stuck with $2 million. Orange will now go first, green second, red third, and blue last. Now, because blue is last in the last round doesn't mean he has to drop out immediately. If he wants to, he can keep going and keep buying as long as he has money to do so, if he's the only player left in the round. But passing early can get you a leg up on the next round. So it's a good balance of when you need to drop out, to maybe build up for the next season. So at the end of this round, what we're going to do, we're going to count up our viewers. So right now I ended with 25. So I'll bring it down to 0, take my little chit right here and move it to 25. And let's say the other players, maybe someone got 23, one got 21, another one got 15. He didn't do good at all. And that's how it'll go. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to move any of my reruns to my archives now because they're dead. I'm going to move all my shows and age them 1 season. Now those didn't do very good at all. They're not getting me anything, but this one went down, actually went up in season 2 to 11. And then of course you'll move the season marker up 1. Now once you've played through each round of 5 seasons, then it's the end game. You're going to tally up how many viewers you have. You can even cash in some money to buy viewers as well. $3 buys you 1 viewer, and you can add it to your count there. And whoever has the most viewers at the end wins the networks. All right, so final thoughts on the networks. What do I think about this game? Well, actually, this was the first ever game I ever kickstarted online. And to date, it's only one of 2. I just kickstarted one a while back. But this was my first one. And I got it because I like the theme. I like the theme of running your own TV station. It looked really good. And usually on Kickstarter, I'll wait until I play it. And if I play it and like it, then I'll get it. I will not kickstart it. Because just because it looks good doesn't mean it will be good. However, I made an exception for networks. I said, this looks pretty good. I think I'll like to play it. Kickstarted, it came in. I'll be honest, I was very worried when it came in because I thought, what if it sucks? And it didn't. It actually plays really well. Really smooth gameplay. It's different from its predecessors, War of the Networks and TV Wars, where you don't just roll and move. There's actually a lot more strategy involved. There's a lot more things shaking on, going with stars and ads, sponsors to it. There's a lot of good stuff in this game. Me personally, I like TV Wars best, but Networks honestly plays the best with the gaming group. My group has really loved the networks a lot. Of course, it has newer shows. It makes fun of, let me see, there's Doctor What instead of Doctor Who. There's Found instead of Lost. There's some other shows that I'm sure I just don't know. One's a Criminal Minds ripoff that my wife thought was just really funny. I didn't get it when I first read it, and I can't remember what the actual fake name was of it. I love the little stupid shows you get, Cooking with Gerbils and whatnot. That's just ridiculous. I think there's a lot of good humor in the game. Now, a few caveats. One, can't be helped. I wish seasons went longer. I wish it went to 5 seasons. I mean, not 5, but 7 seasons, 9 seasons. Because some of these shows can go 10 seasons, 7 to 10 seasons now. But I understand if you did that, then you'd be keeping the best shows forever, and you wouldn't have a need to constantly switch out shows. So I understand the reason to make them shorter seasons. That way you keep having to buy new shows and new stars and new ads and keep the game fresh throughout the length of the game. So I get why they didn't do that. That's just me. I just wish we could keep shows longer. Like shows peak sometimes at their 4th season, not their 2nd, even though some do peak at their 2nd. So I don't know. It's just a little me complaint. Not really any fault of the game. One fault that I do hate is that there aren't that many sports shows in here. And it seems like there's lots of ad cards and actor cards that require sports. And there's not that many sports cards. In fact, you'll never get an archive bonus, I'm convinced, with just getting sports shows. There aren't that many in the deck. I know there's going to be expansion, I think, coming out soon that will hopefully add more shows to the deck, and hopefully a lot of those will be sports because it is drastically hurting on getting some better shows in there. Other than that, it is a great game. Super fun to play. My board game group loves playing the networks. I'll be honest, when it came in, I was super worried because I want to play the Kickstarter before I play it, and this one just paid off. I was so happy when it was a good game, and I showed it off to a bunch of my friends, and they loved it too, and it made me very thankful that I got the game. So should you get this game? Actually, yes. Again, if you love the idea of running your own TV network, this has it all. Is it the best one of the 3 TV ones I've mentioned? Probably. Me personally, TV Wars, because those are 80 shows, and I love it. But something a little bit more streamlined, a little bit nicer looking, definitely the networks. You should check it out. All right, gamers, that is all the time I have for now. Until next time, game on.